Hello, 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 Inner Alchemy Oracle students. We are on week 35, card 35, and this week we are looking at compassion. As with all other training videos, I am going to show you how to read this card, my interpretation of this card so it can help you understand it a little bit better, your contemplation for the week, and the journaling prompt. I am coming to you from outdoors today. I am up at a park down the road from where we live, and it is absolutely beautiful. I think I treated myself to a little bit of compassion and decided to go to the park. So when we look at this card, I want you to think of a couple different things. The card represents, what does compassion represent, and what does it look like this woman is doing? Now, as with most cards, I love hearing other people's interpretation of it, and I have found that some people have seen this as Kali, others have seen it as Kwan Yin, and I'm going to delve into that in a moment. But for right now, I want to look at what compassion means and take it apart. So if you look at COM, C-O-M, it means connection, unity, and togetherness, as in community and compassion. So you can see where come and passion come together, and they are all about sharing someone's pain or pleasure. Passion means to experience or experiencing strong emotions. We have heard this as, the Passion of the Christ. That seems to be something that, around Easter we hear a lot of. But also what it means to have passion for something or someone. It's about experiencing strong emotions. When we think of compassion, it's usually spoke about in a way of saying, okay, someone is going through some kind of pain and suffering, and we have compassion for them. But I'm going to challenge you and ask you, is that necessarily true? Do we need to have just compassion for someone who is going through pain and suffering? Or can we also have compassion for someone who is experiencing pleasure as well? If we bring the two together, we are sharing in someone's pain or suffering or pleasure, kindness, their joy, whatever they're experiencing, we experience it and feel it as well. I'm also going to tell you that when I created this card, there was a special significance on the sacral area. I'll push this up here a little bit so you can see it, and you can see the heart center is in the sacral area. So if you're familiar with Kwan Yin or Kali, either one of those, they are basically, how do I want to say it? Kali is the great destroyer of what is not love. So while Kali might seem as though she's got this warrior goddess kind of look and feel to her, she really means well. And Kali is also associated with the Tower. So if you work with a tarot card deck and you're familiar with the Tower, it shows a crumbling of foundation or something that cannot be sustained because it is not coming from a place of love, right? So if we look at the Tower card or Kali, it's the great destroyer of that which is not love. Now, if you work with Kwan Yin, and Kwan Yin has been a guide of mine for many, many years, probably one of the first ones that kind of showed up in a meditation. Kwan Yin is all about love, self-love, self-compassion, and understanding and kindness. She is considered like a great mother. So that's one of the things that I love about this card is it depends on what and how you are perceiving. Are you perceiving from a place of, is this card showing you that everything needs to be taken down or that which is not of love is being destroyed? And if that's the case, then you might want to ask for or pray for it to be done subtly, gently, lovingly, and recognize that the other side of that is Kwan Yin, and Kwan Yin is indeed the Great Redeemer, and she will take care of it. So that's one way to look at it, and that was my interpretation. The other thing is compassion is the ultimate architect. So if you think of the destroyer, how the destroyer, how do I want to say it? The destroyer knocks something down, right? Or something is destroyed by being knocked down, or I'm not even going to use the word let go, although that would be a much more gentler way of dealing with compassion, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment as well. But compassion, if it's the ultimate architect, then something has to be taken down or taken out, right, in order to be rebuilt. So those are just a couple ways that you can look at that. Self-compassion is the practice of treating yourself with the same kindness and care that you would give to somebody else. So you're kind of being asked to look at, are you giving yourself the same amount of compassion that you would for others? Sometimes it's a little bit easier to be more compassionate towards others than it is yourself, meaning you might be hard on yourself, you might be having a really you might be very critical of yourself, but yet you would have a lot of compassion and understanding for someone who may be going through something very similar to you. So it really is about the mirror. And you can also see, if you want to go back, and I don't remember, I almost am thinking maybe it's 11, I believe is the number for enlightenment. But if you go back, you'll see also the lotus, right? The lotus flowers here, which is always a representation of loving kindness, compassion, sort of like a Buddha-ish nature, right? Because when we have a Buddha nature, it's like nothing can really touch us, because we have compassion for ourselves, so we're not in pain and suffering, and we have compassion for another, so we're not judging or seeing somebody as needing our help, that's very important, needing our help, or coming from a place of like, I want to help you because I understand where you're coming from, without becoming attached and experiencing the suffering yourself. Very challenging, and it's something that, we all work on, I'm sure, on a daily basis. So that is part of what this whole story is having compassion for yourself, meaning also having compassion for another. So it's kind of like we go back to that oneness, right? Because the oneness represents self and other as one. I'm kind of doing this backwards. Self and other as one. Okay? And then we also look at, how it is tied into the sacral area. And the sacral area is absolutely 100% second chakra. Sacral. And if we were to look at how all of life is sacred as part of the sacral, and we could feel that, then compassion would come much, much easier for us as well. So I am going to bring up your contemplation for the week and your journaling prompt. So contemplation for the week is, we said it earlier, where are you in need of giving yourself, keyword, giving yourself, so allowing yourself, giving yourself, or sometimes it's hard for you to find this in your own self, but it might be easier to find another or another. It could be a family member, it could be your significant other, it could be somebody that you might have even run into during the day. So yourself or another, more compassion. The reason why I say more is because I guarantee you it's something natural that you do. You already give compassion to someone. You probably even give compassion to yourself. But when you are in awareness, right? When you are in awareness or a mindfulness of something, it brings more information to the forefront. It brings up new information for your body to process, or your heart, because compassion really is also about the heart. So where are you in need of giving yourself or another more compassion in your life? So that is your contemplation. And then I'm feeling the blue. I don't have a lot of cards that have a lot of blue, but when they do come through, this also tells you that this is about communication, right? So blue is communication. If you are communicating truthfully to yourself and one another, then you're also going to be able to experience more pleasure. Because when we don't communicate how we are feeling, that's when we actually do experience pain. And once again, so you're kind of like, it's a double-edged sword. And that's the Kali, the Kwan Yin thing. So here's the journaling assignment. And this is very interesting. And again, you may even decide to do a little bit of checking out who Kali is and Kwan Yin to decide who you want to petition to help you with this. You're going to write a list of all your grievances with yourself. So you think about all that negative self-talk that you have, okay? So you're going to write a list of all your grievances and then ask, so write a list of all your grievances and I'll say with yourself. And hey, if you would like to take this one step further, you can also write your list of grievances that you have with another. Okay? And then ask both the Great Destroyer, Kali, K-A-L-I. Remember, she is kind of the Great Destroyer of that which is not love, which we see in the tarot deck as the Tower, and the Great Redeemer. It's almost like they're sisters, or one is the shadow side and one is the light, or they're both light and they're both shadow. You know, I love for you to discover these things on your own without me telling you specifically what you need to do or what you need to say, because I believe in you and I believe in your gifts and your abilities. So the Great Redeemer, Kwan Yin, to take care of it. And what I love about something like that, okay, and this could be something that has been going on for a long time. It could be something that is short-lived, but you're going to write a list of all your grievances with yourself or another. Pick one or the other. Then you can always do it again with another list. And then ask both the Great Destroyer Kali and the Great Redeemer Kwan Yin to take care of it. And then notice how you feel. Okay? Notice how you feel. All right, you guys. This is week 33, card 35. I'm sorry, week 35, card 35, compassion. Find compassion with yourself. Find compassion with another. See the two words, come and passion. So when you're experiencing strong emotions, speak it into existence, whether it is pleasure or whether it is not so pleasurable, but recognize and understand that when you do that, others are going to feel it with you without attaching yourself to it. Now, if you find that this is a bit of a challenge, reach out to me and we can talk about it, okay? All right, have a great week and we will see you on week 36, Light Warrior.